What is up, Motorfest racers? It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut, and I'm here today with a lot of good cars for the grand race. I'm not going to say they're meta because there's 600 cars in the game. We've only tested a couple of dozen, but it's day zero. I want to bring you guys some good competitive cars based on the testing we did in beta and what we've done today. I've been playing this game since it came out 6 hours ago straight with me and my crew. There's been 10-15 of us just racing and testing, and we've honed into a lot of really good cars for the grand race that we're continuously using while we test others. And I want to get that out to you so that way if you're going to be buying cars, you're at least buying into something you know is somewhat competitive, and it's what we've been using. So let me show you what I've got. We'll start from the top and we'll work our way down. Guys, it's a new game, so if you're learning on how to do stuff, let me show you what's up. If you want to get to the car category, let me just deploy that, I guess, get that Liberty Walk. If you're buying cars, you go to shop. Then you go to vehicle catalog, and then you can search by brand or type or category, and you can go through those. I already own majority of these that I'm going to go through. There's a couple that I don't because my crew had them, and they were walking me in them, so I know they're quite fast. Let me show you what I've got in my garage. Okay, so from here, I go into vehicles. We're going to start in Street Tier 1. Street Tier 1 cars that I'm going to recommend for you guys out of the gate is this Boss 429 Mustang. This car is really good. In the grand race, it auto balances all the cars. This one's got the legs. It handles pretty decent. I don't have tunes for you guys for these. I'm just showing you the cars that you can just jump right in the grand race and use. And this is the first one I would recommend. My man Spaghetti Boy, who we met today, he was using this and just shredding with it. So it's pretty solid. If not this one, it's a toss-up because there's a couple other close seconds. But I'd say if you're going to buy a Street Tier 1 car, go get this Mustang Boss and you're not going to be disappointed. I tried a handful of the others. The DeLorean, actually not that bad, but the Focus is not good. Don't do that. I don't know. The 2010 Focus is better than the 16, but go get the Boss. Be happy with that, and thank me later. When I have meta builds, when I've got record-setting pace cars and tunes, I'm gonna bring those guys to you. But for now, it's day zero. I want to get you guys some content, get you playing the game, and buying cars with confidence because it's a grind like anything else. So if I can get you off on the right foot, that's what we're doing here. All right, we're going to go into Street Tier 2. Now, this is something that we knew from beta. The Ferrari F12 Berlinetta. This car is great. It handles really well. It sounds really good. It's a fantastic vehicle. It's going to treat you right. Moving on from there, the Lamborghini Diablo GT. This car is fast. When it auto balances, it's a little faster than the Ferrari. It accelerates a little harder. It doesn't turn quite as good, but it's still very drivable. If you get this car, you're not going to be disappointed. Middle ground between both those vehicles is going to be the Ferrari F40. This is the third on the list that I'm going to recommend. It is very good. It's very strong. It handles very good. It's got a little longer gearing, so you got to be a little bit better with your gear nitrous rationing, so to speak. It's pretty solid. So out of those three, the two Ferraris plus this really good Lamborghini Diablo GT, those are the three I'm going to recommend. As more cars present themselves, I'm going to bring them to you, but out of the gate, these are the ones that we tested today because they made patches from the beta. They balanced some stuff. A lot of the cars that we had written down were like, these are good, are not nearly as strong, and some cars that we thought might be good are really starting to emerge as being better than what we expected. So definitely pick up these three. If I had to pick one to start with, I'm going to say the Diablo GT is the way to go. All right, we move along. Guys, in the grand race, you are going to run and race drift cars. The drift car that I'm going to highly recommend is the Lamborghini Murcielago LP640. You set this thing up for full grip. Go in the pro settings and kind of tweak a few things just to give it as much grip as you can. A little bit of downforce. Stiffen up the suspension a little bit. This is a very, very fast car that you can actually race in the grand race when they throw a drift car at you. Don't use it for point scoring. You'll set up another car for that. Set this car up to be your race for the grand race. because they will throw a drift car at you, they'll throw monster trucks at you. This is the one that is really, really strong. It was strong in beta, it's still strong today. So make sure you guys throw this one in your garage. It's the only drift car that I can recommend right now, because after testing some of the other ones, the only second place one is this Lancer Evo. That's because it's all-wheel drive. You set it up for grip, it's very drivable. So Mercy first, it's the best. Second, which is easier to drive, is going to be the Lancer. So between those two cars, you're going to have a drift car that you can run in the Grand Race and do quite well. Alright, we move on to racing. This is my favorite class because it brought all the touring cars from the Crew 2, and they're now racing cars. In the beta, the Bugatti Bolide was cracked. It was so good. It's been nerfed. It's not nearly as strong as it was. I ran the SLR McLaren. It is very good. It is a great handling car. It's an SLR McLaren, so it's kind of special because it's not in a lot of other games right now. So pick this one up. That's the one I'm going to recommend. I already bought that. I mean, guys, it's day 0. I used crew credits and I went and got it because I was like, this car is so good. Super disappointed. It just didn't hit it quite as hard. Second, after we get into that awesome SLR McLaren, is going to be the Ferrari FXXK. This Ferrari is really good. It's very balanced. It's very fast. It's not a super top speed, and it doesn't have the craziest cornering. It's a very well balanced car. The third on the list that I'm going to recommend is one that I know is going to catch a lot of you guys off guard, but it's pretty cracked. It is the Proto Hup 1. Very good car. Handles very good. It's very fast. It is really very strong. In the Grand Race, it auto balances all the cars. You don't get to pick your parts. And so when this one gets auto balanced in there, it's really good. Add that one to your garage, run with that. Between those 3 cars I just named off, one of those is going to suit your driving style and you're going to be really cracked. So go with that. It's sweet. Stay tuned. I'm going to have more tips. We're going to have meta cars, setups for them, what tracks they're strong on, how to set up the cars, what I'm doing with that. I've got a crew of people that back me. When I bring you data, it's not just me. It is we out here. And if you want to be a part of that, join the Discord, come and hang out, and just start plugging in and racing with us. Iron sharpens iron, and we're trying to attract the fastest people in the game that we can because we want to race fast guys. And we've already done that with Need for Speed Unbound, and I'd like to see you guys come and join us. Okay, we move on from racing into hyper. For the dragster, I've got 2 drag cars. I don't know what's meta there just yet. That's not in the Grand Race. This is a Grand Race special, right? So for the hyper cars, the Koenigsegg Jesko, the Jesko, is good. It's a little rowdy. It has great acceleration and top speed. On the big end, this car is second to none in a lot of ways. But it'll get loose on you, especially if you get in the dirt. So if you're not really confident in your rear-wheel drive cars, maybe pass on this one. But if you think you can handle it, if you're smooth on your throttle, this car is very strong. It is very fast. Most of the Koenigsegg's are, but this one really was kind of a shining light to me when I was racing it today in the Grand Race. And I was running multiple cars trying to find out what was good, and it felt very good right out of the box. Second on that list is going to be the Bugatti Chiron Carbon Edition. This car is very good. It's very planted, very predictable, very fast. It is not quite as wild as the Jesko, so go with this. Pretty much all the Bugattis are kind of in that camp, but the Carbon really kind of stood out to me when we were driving it. The Noir is not bad if you have that one. I did try the P1. It's way too rowdy. Don't run that one. The 918's good, but it lacks a little on the big end. There's a handful of cars that were good, but not really where I wanted them to be, except for the McLaren Senna. This is a very good handling car. It's rear-wheel drive. It's a little rowdy. You need to be aware of that going in. You can't just plug the throttle and go crazy unless you have comfort traction control on. This is a good one. In the Corner King matches where there's lots and lots of twisties and stuff, this is going to set you up for success. It's predictable. So out of the 3, the Bugatti, the McLaren Senna, and the very first car on the list that we looked at, press the wrong button. Excuse me. Guys, I've been up all night playing the game, and we've just been doing it. The Koenigsegg Jesko, that first one. So out of those 3 cars, grab one of those. Go with what you feel. Grab them all eventually, but those are the 3 I'm going to recommend right now. And as more cars emerge as being very good, because there's 604 in the game, I'll bring those to you in updates with tunes on them, and we'll get you guys set up. Alright, let's move on to our next class, which is the Alpha GP. This is a really small class, there's not that many cars. The RB14 is a car a lot of guys have from the Crew 2. It's not that great, it's kind of low tier. The Concept Glow, not that great. This one is kind of fast, but it sounds really weird, and it's just crazy looking. I feel like I'm driving a Hot Wheels car. The two cars I'm actually going to recommend is the Alpha Mark II. This is a very, very good car. It turns very good, it's very predictable, it's going to hook up. It's just a good Alpha car. And then the Alpha Mark X, Mark 10. Both of those Alpha cars are super solid. Grab the Mark II or the Mark 10. Be happy, run it. You're not going to have any problems. I would recommend those over all the other Alpha cars. And as a crew, we were testing those today to find out what was good. And we pretty much all definitively came to either the 2 or the 10, depending on preference. So, guys, I think this one's a little more rowdy. I think the 2 is just like planted. All right. We go into motocross. Now, the motocross class, I don't have all the bikes yet. I've only tested one bike. It was this one, the Nighthawk Edition. I was walking other guys that were on the Yamahas and the KTMs. I think for maybe some of the jump tracks and whatnot, these might be pretty good. But for the outright grand race setting, this one had the speed. It was really cracked. I mean, I had no problem just blowing by people. So keep that in mind. I'm being honest here, I don't have a ton of testing on this, but the Nighthawk was really good in beta, and it's proven to be kind of the same way today. From motocross, we move on to Rally Raid. Now, this one kind of surprised me a little bit. The Aerial Nomad is one a lot of people are going to have. This car is drifty no matter what you do, no matter how you set it up. It's fast, but it slides. If you can control the slide, or it's a part of the Rally Raid track where it's a lot of straights, it's pretty good. But as soon as you get into the corners, it's just going to be loosey on you. So I'm not going to recommend it, but I am going to give it an honorable mention. Porsche 959. This car is great. It's a very good turning car. That being said, it'll get a little rowdy on you. If you cannot handle how insane this thing gets, put it away. It's probably one of the more difficult handling cars in the class. It's fast, but you've got to tame it. So if you're a good driver, if you've got a lot of experience running in the Crew 2 or in the Crew Motorfest when you're watching this video, I'm going to recommend it. It's good, but just know what you're getting into. It's a tough one to drive. Overall, for balance and stability and acceleration, the Nissan Skyline R34 is cracked. It is super, super good. It's very fast. It's very easy to drive. It's my #1 recommendation for anybody picking up the game. If you don't have a Rally Raid yet, buy this, drive it, enjoy it. The Citroen 3008 is not bad. It's probably 3rd on the list. It's easy to drive, but with the way the suspension is, if you get into the turns, it kind of like sets back and it'll loop on you. And it does a little bit of weirdness, but it's not bad. If you already have this car, you can drive it with confidence. It's not terrible. The F-150 Raptors, junk. Don't drive those. This buggy, not that good. I'll tell you right now, the Mercedes-Benz X-Class, not worth it, folks. I had no success with it. Yeah, no, it's not good. There's a lot of cars that are like not good or they're mid, but I will say that these 3 right here are really where it's at. But guys, buy that Skyline. Thank me later. It's really solid. You're going to enjoy it, I promise. It is Grand Race. We skip over Demolition. We go to Rally. In the Crew 2, this car was utterly dominant. Right now, it's not. So if you've already got that car and you don't have anything else, drive it, but it's not the one. The Citroen C3 is my #1 recommendation. It's very good. People that were winning the Grand Race, including myself and some of the guys that I'm racing with, this is our pick. It handles really, really good. It doesn't have quite the same top speed as a few other cars in the class, but the moment you get into the turns, this thing is solid. So pick this one up. I would say this Citroen C3 is the way to go. Top speed, the Lotus Exige S is good, but it's rear-wheel drive. It's rowdy. It's hard to control. It'll spin on you. So if you're looking at the map when it draws it out before you pick your cars, if you see there's a lot of straightaways, this might do you solid. It might do you some justice, but the Citroen is definitely going to be a solid pick for that. The other one is going to be the Porsche GT3. This 911 is very good. It's got a decent top speed, kind of similar to the the Lotus Exige, but it's a little easier to drive. But still, being rear-wheel drive, it's a little rowdy. It gets on you. The Citroen, best car to drive, easiest to drive out of this list. It's pretty good. And like I say, as more cars get developed, as we find the meta builds, I'll bring those to you in multiple videos. But for now, we're wanting to get you some day zero so you can go run the grand race, get some money, and have some fun. All right, monster truck, grab anything you want. I already had this one. Really, that just comes down to driver skill. I haven't identified what the meta one is yet because it's impossible to tell right now, so I can't recommend anything there. For the power boats, same deal. I haven't run a boat race yet where I was with my other guys and we were comparing all the boats together. The 1414 Demon was really good in the crew too. It seems to be also decent in the one boat race I did in beta, but I can't give you guys an honest recommendation because I don't know. Planes. Here's the deal. I own these three. I ran the Spitfire and I ran the Edge 540. They're both pretty fast. They have similar top speeds-ish. I think that the Edge 540 is a little bit better, but it really just, you're kind of splitting hairs. When it auto balances, they have similar top speeds. Guys, I'm going to recommend when you're driving the planes, get it flat and steer with the rudder. So steer with your bumpers to where it just rotates the plane side to side like that and doesn't actually do the y-axis this way. You don't want it to roll. Don't steer and then pull up to make your turns. That's really hard to rotate in and do that. It's crazy. For the grand races, there's these big circle checkpoints. You can clip the edges of them, so just fly right through the end of it and just get your plane flat and just steer and go up and down. So that way you've only got to worry about 2D. So turning and then up and down. As soon as you start to roll and do crazy stuff, it'll throw you off, and it's honestly not even that much. I don't think it's faster. But the plane that you need to buy that I have not purchased yet, but I got walked in it because it has a so much higher top speed, is in the shop, and it is the Northrop. Let me go down to grab that here. The Northrop Grumman. This plane has a top speed that is about 20 mile an hour faster than the other planes that I have in the garage right now. I was getting walked by this thing every time we pulled out planes in the grand race. I was looking over at my boy that's on his computer right now. Shout out to Sadros. And he was just going faster. Like, he was making up tremendous ground on me in the plane races. And that's a really great way to make up. If you have the right plane and you can make up ground there, it's really smooth because it's really easy to do that. Everybody's just full bore. We're pretty much full speed the whole time. It's just NOS management. This one's fast. It's worth saving up for. 500 G's, do your thing, go grab it, hook it up. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Actually, while we're here, I'm just gonna buy it right now. Use my crew credits because I know I want this. I know I want to be competitive later today. So I'll buy it in the video just so you guys see that I'm serious about it. I spent real life money for that one. But guys, that's the list of great vehicles for the grand race based on what I know today, based on experience from beta, and with 15-20 guys in my Discord all testing different cars as fast as we could so we can get you day zero content, so you're going in with a loaded weapon, you know what you need to grab, and at least feel like you're getting something that's decent. There's so many cars in the game. I would hate for somebody to spend 2-3 hours worth of grinding to get something they're not going to be happy with. So at least these cars are competitive at the level we're at right now. And like I say, as things emerge, I'll bring you more details, but I want to get you something in hand so that way you can go win the grand race. Guys, that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to me and my crew, we were the best in Unbound, and we're going to do it again in the crew Motorfest. The best builds, the meta cars, the glitches, the bugs, tournaments, you name it. If you're looking for a place to kick it, this channel, call it home. I've got an awesome Discord community. We've got 1,500 members that we all got during Need for Speed Unbound, and we're growing like crazy. It's a lot of fun. We'd love to have you. Discord.gg/CornnutCrew. Alright guys, we'll see you in Motorfest. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.